Guys, my name is Sydney Montgomery, and I am a licensed professional counselor associate supervised by Mark Green here at Angelo State Counseling Services. Today, I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about self-care and relaxation, what those techniques look like, and how you can implement them into your everyday life. This video is strictly for psychoeducational purposes. It is not to be interpreted as a form of counseling. However, should you find yourself in crisis, desiring further counseling, or seeking a one-time consultation, feel free to come see us at Counseling Services. We're located in between the chapel and the museum on campus, or you can always give us a call to set up an appointment at 325-942-2371. And so what I want to begin with is, I guess, the why of why I'm talking about self-care and relaxation. So the concept of self-care and relaxation holds great importance to me. I am a firm believer that we cannot pour from an empty cup, meaning that if we're denying ourselves love and care, it can make it difficult to care for those around us. We can experience burnout, lack of motivation, things of that nature. And self-care is not selfish, and it is not a privilege. It's necessary. It's necessary that we pay attention to our needs and that we feed ourselves with goodness as much as possible. And so I'll just dive right into kind of the definition of both of the concepts. So what is self-care? Self-care is the act of doing things that are beneficial to one's physical, emotional, or psychological well-being. And relaxation is the act of making something less tense, rigid, firm, or anxious. Do any of those terms sound familiar? Because I know as college students, it can be really easy to get under stress with school, homework, work in general, feeling the need to be in like 3 places at once, with all the activities going on and feeling like you don't want to miss out on anything. That can induce a lot of stress. And so it's important that we implement time in our schedules to allow for that debriefing, for the care that we give to other people, but allow it for ourselves. And so a few self-care techniques that I want to go through with you is, first, I want to address that often self-care is deemed as this big event, and that it has to be something that is just pleasing to the eye, like bubble baths and face masks and massages and manis and pedis and things like that. And while those are great things and always recommend those things, it can also be other things as well, other practical things that you wouldn't always think would be self-care. And so I like to define self-care as anything that brings you peace, that initiates calm among the chaos, right? And so a few of these things would be like exercise and healthy eating habits, fueling your body, moving your body, allowing yourself to indulge in healthy habits to give you energy to sustain you throughout the day. Also, one thing that would go with this is having adequate amounts of sleep, allowing yourself time to rest and recharge for the next day ahead. And then with that, maintaining a schedule. It's like, okay, my classes are at this time, work is at this time, I'm using homework for this time. I like to refer it as planning the week, seeing what your week looks like, having that schedule and allowing for consistencies in there to help kind of maintain a sense of regularity and things of that nature. And this kind of goes with exercise, but going on walks. Walks are a great way to connect with the environment around you. Everyone could use a little sunlight every now and again, and just be able to really kind of be alone with yourself and either listen to music, your favorite podcasts, or just process emotions or thoughts or situations in your life, and just allowing that time to just debrief everything going on. Some people say that paying their bills on time or getting chores done is self-care because it brings them peace, knowing that they've been able to take things off their plate. They've completed tasks. Journaling and creativity is a great way to utilize self-care, such as using the Creativity Center that we have here on campus, where you can paint, draw, just any of the creativity mediums, whether you make music, you can write, things of that nature. And just utilizing that to bring about self-care as well. Also, especially for the extroverts, spending time with loved ones is a great way to practice self-care. People are not meant to be alone. It's important that we build a community, especially with people who love us and that we love back. And so allowing others to pour into you can also be a form of self-care in that regard. And then I already mentioned podcasts or music, whether that's your true crime podcasts or like self-help podcasts or your favorite music. Feeding your mind with those things that you enjoy is a great way to utilize practicing self-care and tending to your emotional, spiritual, psychological needs. And then while relaxation techniques can be a form of self-care, self-care is not always a relaxation technique. So there's some similarities in there, and we're going to go through some relaxation techniques next. And so there's a few subgroups to relaxation, one of those being grounding. So a grounding exercise that I encourage my students to use and that I will often tell others to use as well is the 5-4-3-2-1 method, where when you feel yourself starting to experience anxiety, panic, heavy stress, things of that nature, you find 5 things around you that you can see. So like a bookshelf, a computer, a phone, my little tassels hanging in the background, my couch, 4 things I can touch. I can touch, again, the computer. I can touch my sweater. I can touch, whatever else that is in the room. 3 things I can hear. I hear myself talking. I hear the sound machine outside the door. 2 things you can smell. I smell my candle and anything else in the room that you would be able to smell, even if you can't smell it in that moment. And then 1 thing you can taste, and really identifying those things. And by doing so, you're taking the thought that is so focused on the panic and the anxiety, and you're putting it into other places. And therefore, it's relaxing you, and it's helping your body to calm down and find the calm in the midst of that chaos that is racing thoughts and things of that sort. Another subgroup that I want to touch on is mindfulness. And so a few ways to practice mindfulness. One is body scanning. And so this is basically what it is. You go through your entire body. You can start from your head to your toes, go from your toes to your head, whichever works for you. And you practice tensing the muscles and releasing, and do that a few times. And it's going to relax your body. I know I like to do this sometimes before I go to sleep. It helps relax my body before going to bed and things of that nature, or like taking a nap, or before a test, like relaxing your body, because we can sometimes feel that stress and anxiety like in our chest and our shoulders, pretty much anywhere. I've had people tell me they can feel it like all in their legs. They feel their legs tighten up. And so this is a great way to literally physically force your body to relax. Another good way to practice mindfulness is meditation. And guided meditations involved with that. There are so many forms of meditation. You can look up like on YouTube, several apps you can download on your phone. And there's meditation for so many different things. There's meditations for deep sleep. There's meditations for anxiety. There's meditations for like several different life situations, just all of the above. And so just finding the meditation that works right for you and allowing yourself to go through that, and just following the steps of somebody with a really soothing voice, kind of walking you through that, is a great way to help relax your body, especially like before going to sleep or before a big test or anything that you feel like is causing some excess stress in your life. Also, breathing exercises are a great way to help relax whenever you're feeling as if kind of you're in panic and feeling that anxiety that comes with just everyday life situations like we talked about previously. And so one method that I wanted to touch on is boxed breathing. And so essentially you have your box. And so you inhale a count of 1, 2, 3, 4, and you hold it 1, 2, 3, 4. You release 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you just don't breathe in for another 4 count. And so you're focused on the counting and the creating of the box, and it's also helping regulate your breathing. If you are to experience anxiety and you feel like you can't breathe, that you're just like hyperventilating, this is a great way to help regulate that breathing. Another great relaxation technique that we've already talked about is music. I believe that lyrics and songs can be very healing. And so really allowing yourself to just pay attention to even the melody and the lyrics and things that come in a song. I know a bunch of musicians out there can probably pinpoint several parts of the music that they like to listen to. I'm a big fan of the lyrics and the melody. But just allowing yourself to indulge in that and just listen to your favorite music. I will never say, oh no, now's not a good time for that. Like, it is always an okay time to listen to your favorite music. And so now the question remains, how can I implement this in my everyday life? And the guidance I typically give clients is start small. I am not asking you to rearrange your schedule to implement self care. Even if you can only allow yourself 10 minutes a day to implement self care, that 10 minutes is better than 0 minutes. Just be aware of your needs, of where you feel as if life is being taken from you and how you can fill your cup back up. Remaining consistent with your self care. Again, life happens, things get in the way, but trying to implement as much of it as you possibly can, as much as you feel like your needs are allowing you to, and also maintaining boundaries with that within yourself and with others, protecting your peace in a sense. So, yeah, that is all I've got on self care and relaxation. Should you have any further questions, please feel free to call or come see us here at Counseling Services. Thank you.